Bezrat Hashem Mincha today is going to be at 8:10, followed by, of course, Alvit and an event. We're going to be having an event in the Beit Knesset, the catered event, with also the raffle for Korel O Michael. This learning is going to be sponsored Leilul Nishmat Michael Ben Dora, which is on behalf of the Korel O Michael. Chazak u'Baruch to them. Make sure to try to make every effort to be here and to participate. Also, we like to count the Omer. Today is the 47th day of the Omer, which is 6 weeks and 5 days. In terms of the halachot of Muktze, I want to talk about a case similar to what we discussed last week, where we talked about a keli, an instrument that is needed tevilah, meaning you bought it from a goy, it's either metal or glass, and it needs to be taken to the mikveh. It wasn't yet taken to the mikveh. We said that one is allowed to handle such an instrument on Shabbat. So this is going to be a little bit of a different question. What happens if a person has a pot that is a dairy pot, and it was used on Friday, for example, accidentally for meat? So now the pot becomes asur to use because it had dairy and meat. Pot itself is asur to use. Does it become muktze on Shabbat because of the fact that it doesn't have a usage on Shabbat? So the truth of the matter is, a pot that becomes asur to use, you're not allowed to use it for hot meat, not for hot dairy, and also not for hot parev. All things that are hot are prohibited in usage. However, the Shulchan Aruch writes that to use this pot for something that is not hot, let's say I want to use it to store fruits inside, is not asur as long as it's done on a temporary basis. And I'm not just talking about on Shabbat, I'm talking about even during the week. If you have pots that are asur, that need a echsher, that need hagala done to it, but you're still allowed to use it on a temporary basis. Obviously on a permanent basis we don't allow because there's a concern you might forget and then you end up using it for hot. But on a temporary basis, on a one-time basis, you're allowed to use it to store things in or to contain things that are cold, that aren't hot, because there's not going to be any flavor that is imparted. Since that is the case, it is not deemed to be muktze on Shabbat because it does have a valid usage of the item. So therefore, it would be permitted to store things in, to use it. If you want to transfer something that might be inside of it to a different place, that would be permitted to be done, and it's not considered muktze. It's actually very similar to a different case, the Gemara says, where you have a pot that is broken. Let's say you had some sort of vessel, a bowl maybe, that broke. So the Gemara says if you're able to use the shard that remains for some sort of storage, it's still considered to be huchan. It's still considered to be not muktze. However, if it's unusable for anything, so then it becomes muktze. And this is a similar thing. Since it's usable for something that is similar to its primary usage, therefore it doesn't have the status of muktze. It's a kli shemelachto le'eter. Baruch Adonai le'olam. Amen ve'amen.